What is up, everyone? It is your boy, Pick 5 Johnny, Big Willis. We are back in the house. It is Florida Derby week.
Yes.
It's time, bro. We're getting to that crunch time where we're getting our big 3-year-old colt races, and we're going to find out who's the real deal come that first Saturday in May.
Absolutely, man. And not just the Derby, the whole undercard is
100%.
amazing. I know we're doing we start race 11, going through the Derby, but if you go look at this card, man, it's absolutely loaded. You were talking before that we started before we got on live today, but the field isn't as strong as it's been in the past.
Oh yeah, no.
But the card is loaded.
Yeah, the card always seems to be good at Gulfstream, man, especially on Florida Derby Day. We would know we were there last year. Enjoyed a nice win on the Pick 5 ticket. Maybe we'll have a nice Pick 5 for you by the end of this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like Big Willis said, we are going races 11 through 14, but we are going to have some picks on the undercard going into Saturday at some point up on our YouTube channel, and follow our Instagram. We'll definitely have them there. Florida Derby, let's go.
All right, let's do it. Race 11, right?
Yes, sir.
7.5 on the turf for the 3-year-old fillies. I like 3 horses in here, but I'm only going to end up using one. I'm going to talk briefly about the other 2 first. So, Love Appeals is first time out last time. Beat a good Chad Brown horse. Exploded turning for home. If you go watch that last replay, really strong horse, but this field's tough. So I'm not really trying to use a horse coming out of a maiden win like that. Another horse I took a look at was Breathe Away. When you first look at the entries, this horse kind of stands out just in general, because, the name, it's already been running, got a couple wins. Last out was scheduled for a mile on the turf, came off, was on the synthetic, still ran well. Broke her maiden at 7.5 at Gulfstream on the turf. And that's what this horse is getting on Saturday. So that horse looks really good. But my top pick is the one horse, Mrs. Astor and Astor. So, 3 back, she was 26-1. You got Mike McKelly on the mount, then takes 2 months off, comes down to Gulfstream, gets away good, then shuffled back on the backstretch, nowhere to go. When she turns for home, you think this horse is going to get 6th or 7th. There's no way. Man, comes back to the inside, closes strong, gets a strong 3rd. But what I really liked was the gallop out. Coming up the rail, man, and I'm telling you, if you watch the replay and let it ride, gallops out probably 15 lengths ahead of the rest of the field. Comes back January 29th. This time you get Jose, a way better jockey. Mm-hmm. Keeps her out of traffic on the backstretch. Yep. Goes 4 wide, exploded, all hands, no whip. You don't get Jose on Saturday. You get Luis Saez, and you brought it up. That's one of your favorite jockeys, and I do like you brought it up about the fairgrounds and on a tone. Yep. And he isn't that good of a jockey on the turf as he is on the dirt, but it's his home track, and I'm going to trust Lewis to bring home my top pick for race 11 and Mrs. Astor. I
like that. I think, you definitely convinced me a little bit about Mrs. Astor, and then looking at her, I mean, I definitely like that last race, and then the race prior to. So it's always good to go back and look at the races, not just the last race, but the race prior. Because that race, she had a terrible trip and came flying at the end. So obviously, if she would have had a better trip, she probably would have won, and that's what you want to see. And obviously, the public knew it in her next race because her odds kept getting lesser and lesser.
She was getting bet down, yeah.
So they knew something about this horse. Got a great win last time out. I'm always nervous about a jockey change, always. But Luis Saez, you can't go wrong at Gulfstream. I don't know how the turf's going to be playing because the last time I watched Gulfstream, that thing looked like straight dirt. So
the derf.
Yeah, the derf. So I don't know. We'll see. I hope it plays true. But we'll see. Then I liked Mrs. Astor. Not going to be my top pick. Honestly, I don't know if I have a top pick between the 2, but I liked Riding Pretty and Metaphysical. Both raced against Cairo Consort, who's had some good wins on the turf there. Mm-hmm. And both are coming off races where they didn't have Lasix. So I'm always the Lasix guy.
Yeah.
And both were in the same race prior, like 2 back. We talked about that. And Riding Pretty got first at 12-1, and Metaphysical got second. So you're gonna get good odds on these horses.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it. Like you
Big
don't.
jockey upgrade too with getting Javier Castellano.
Yeah, you got Paco Lopez, who's another one at Gulfstream. He's a Florida guy in general. And then you said Javi Castellano.
Is Metaphysical, yeah.
I mean, I like that. I like what we're getting there. The jockey upgrade. And then Paco has riding Pretty every single time. Except one time at Monmouth. Other than that, Paco's ridden every single time. And I think this horse has a big chance. And we're going to get good odds. Last time out, both were in the 50-1 odds. Definitely outran their odds, and they can outrun their odds on Saturday.
Yeah, and hopefully Aunt Shirley takes some money, switching over from Brissett to Pletcher. Irad's aboard. I don't like that horse at all coming out of the grade 1 spin away. Hopefully that horse takes some money, that Irad and Todd always do down at Gulfstream. So I want nothing to do with that horse. I'm really high on Mrs.
Yeah, well,
Astor.
that's the typical just got claimed. Here comes here comes Todd.
Yeah.
With a horse that hasn't run on the turf yet.
Yeah.
So is this going to be another freak
How to
show?
justify.
Or, yeah. I mean, I it's almost like he's doing like an experiment. I've never seen something like this.
I mean, he's done it in the past. I mean, listen, if there's a guy that's going to do it, it's Todd. I really wouldn't question anything he does.
No.
But he's hitting at a crazy clip this year, absolutely loaded with 3-year-olds all over the place. Phillies, Colts, it doesn't matter. But
Definitely.
yeah, I'm singling in this race.
Single, Mrs. Astor.
Yeah, that's it for me,
So
man.
Big Willis, Mrs. Astor. Big 5 Johnny, I got Riding Pretty, Metaphysical, and Mrs. Astor.
Let's do
That's
it.
how we roll. I think we could bring home a nice little exacta there if we box it.
We've been doing good with that. With
Exactas and
all of our
tries.
picks, man. Yeah. Even a superfecta last week at the fairgrounds.
Yep. All right, here we go. Race 12. Oh boy, the Gulfstream Park Oaks.
3-year-old Phillies going 1.116
The Phillies, bro.
They're tough. You've been saying it. You said this before you even got that deep into horse racing that the Phillies were tough, and you're right.
3-year-old Phillies, man. This race to me is wide open.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not big on Atomically. I do like Miracle. I do like Infinite Diamond, Patrick Biancone. Maybe, I don't know if it's because I have a crush on his daughter or because I just like that horse, and I think she'll run a better race than she did last time out. Especially, I just want to take that Darth Vader race and toss it. That race. I thought that race to me was so freakish, and now you get Darth Vader from
45
45-1 to 4-1 morning line. Yeah, I'm good. If Darth Vader beats me on Saturday, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Darth Vader beats me at 45-1, I'm not okay with that. But Darth Vader beats us at 4-1, I'm fine.
Yeah, the odds dropping like that.
I guess that is a serious filly to look at.
So I believe that Darth Vader will be a serious filly to look at. This horse can be really good, and I really think will be really good. But I also think this horse wants no part of 2 turns or anything more than a mile.
Okay.
That's how I feel about Darth Vader. I don't blame the Connections for taking a shot. They won the Devonna Dale. That's a prep for this. Why not take your shot? But I'm not using that horse at all. Must be talked about, but I'm telling you, that horse is going to be good, just not at this distance. This isn't for her.
Nah, I'm going to hold you to that, bro.
All right. So
just like that Derby horse back in, I can't remember, it was a Chad Brown one that ran on the turf only and then never ran on the
dirt.
Yeah. I can't.
God, I know what you're talking about.
I can't even.
You can't think of the name, but no. All right. So I'm single guy in here too, man. I'm all over Miracle. And when I first looked at this race, I thought like you. I was thinking wide open. I looked at Flakes. I looked at Infinite Diamond. Even Just Catherine. Winning by 5 last out here at Gulfstream. They're coming off the same thing, a 1 turn. A lot of these horses are coming off a 1 turn race.
Yeah.
Miracle's not. Miracle's coming out of that 1.16 Rachel Alexandra, where she put Pretty Mischievous to the test.
Yep.
Say what you want. I know Pretty Mischievous just lost at the fairgrounds, but Pretty Mischievous is a solid horse, and I still believe in that horse. They literally went head for head running. And now you're getting second time Todd. This horse is also
right. Yeah,
out of
Brissett.
Second time Todd, and now you're getting Irad. Yep. I like all the moves in this horse. I'm a Pretty Mischievous guy last time out, and if you go 2 back, same thing. Pulled away with Les Bontemps. How do you say that horse?
Yeah.
But they both pulled away from the rest of the field. Granted, that was at a mile, 1 turn. But this horse definitely stands out. Her last 2 races on paper are good enough to win this race.
Oh yeah, I agree.
You know, so if she can run like she did on this papers that I'm reading, I think we're good to go. Solid. Second time Todd. Second off the layoff. She's breezing good at Palm Beach. I'm all over Miracle.
Yeah, I like that. I'm on Miracle too, and then I'm on Infinite Diamond.
Yeah,
I'm gonna jump on there. And I think the morning line right now, even though we are before the odds, and I don't even see the odds on here. I think I saw something like Infinite Diamond might be 6-1, and I think Miracle's like the morning line lukewarm favorite 5-2. But I think you're gonna get whatever horse you do like. You're gonna get 3-1 or better.
Yeah, for sure.
I think
Atomically's gonna get
pay.
bet.
Yeah, I think Atomic
Vader's gonna take a little bit of money.
There's no reason why Atomically shouldn't be the favorite. Second off the layoff, has won at 2 turns at Gulfstream prior to
Todd
again. So, I mean, that horse is definitely the favorite to me.
No, I agree.
But
I at the end of the day, I think Miracle will end up being the favorite.
all right, we'll see. I also
one of those two. Sorry.
And then of course the typical angle. I mean, Atomically hasn't taken Lasix ever, so that's another angle I like. I mean, a horse is coming in, running clean. You know,
I can't stand the Lasix thing, man.
I know.
The rules of it is crazy.
Yeah, well, I know. I don't understand it completely yet. Obviously, each track is different.
It's either run or don't. I mean, we could talk about Lasix for 45 minutes about how it's used wrong and from track to track, from year to year. It's incredible. So, but that's a talk for another day.
Yeah, Affirmative Lady was one in here I also kind of looked at, but nothing crazy. Coming out of a maiden win. What?
No, I was gonna say, are you using
That's
her?
second to Julia Shine. No, just something to
talk about.
Something to talk about. But yeah, I was on Miracle like you. Obviously, I saw that Pretty Mischievous race, so I was on Miracle like you because of what Pretty Mischievous did last time out. But and even this last race, I talked about that Pretty Mischievous didn't run a terrible race, just got beat. Mm-hmm. I don't know if Southland is a better filly. If they race 5 times, who's gonna win? But just got beat that day, and that's what happens a lot. To a lot of these horses. Yeah, it's very rare they go undefeated. Yeah, especially in their 3-year-old season.
The fillies, especially, man, and the ones that do really stand out, like Rachel Alexandra, or just horses like that you could see it a mile away how good they are. There's nothing like that. Yeah, there's nothing like that.
So. All right, so you're singling Miracle.
Back-to-back singles for me.
I'm going Infinite Diamond and Miracle, race 12. Let's get these fillies right. Don't treat us bad, ladies, please. All right, race 13. We are on the turf.
1 mile on the turf, 4-year-olds and up.
Let's go, man. I'm excited about this race.
Me too. This took me a long time to handicap. I went through it, took my time. I watched a lot of replays. I think this is a race where you really got to look at how it's going to pan out. Like those time form guys, they put up the who's going to get the lead and all that. So I think that is a big deal in here. So the 2 horses I think are on the lead are going to be Win From Within and Striker. If you look at Striker, the last race ran, gate to wire at Tampa has been, and that was in February at a mile. Yep. So that horse really looks like it can only win like that. And then you look at Win From Within on the lead every time. Those 2 horses look like they're going to be up front. I like Win From Within. Chantel Sutherland aboard, not my favorite jockey. Doesn't, but she does her job. She's solid. Yeah. Steady On, I liked number 6.
Yep.
Coming out of that Canadian turf race with Fort Washington.
Yep.
This horse tends to burn up some money. The last 4 races was bet down. I think last race was the second favorite, and before that was the favorite, and got second 3 races in a row.
Now,
or 4 races in a row. So just burning money.
But we will talk about 2 races back was on the all weather.
Yeah.
And lost to Wolfie's Dynagos.
Wolfie's Dynagos, who just won over at Turfway this past weekend.
Yeah, and I saw
soundly.
Yep, and then they went back on the synthetic 3 back, and I remember that race when Golden Glider freaking snuck home. And Fort Washington and Steady On were right there. That's when I started to like those 2. So I think the horse getting on the turf again is going to be something this horse wants.
Absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely, man. And you talk about Wolfie's Dynagos. That was a good race between the 2 of them.
Yeah.
And Wolfie's that was a track record that day for Wolfie. So that horse Steady On it's a solid horse. I mean, I got another. I'm using Fort Washington too, and and that's my top pick.
Oh yeah.
So Fort Washington coming out of that Canadian turf, got the high speed figure at 107. Man, that's big for a turf horse like Fort Washington. Comes from way back and absolutely flying home against Emmanuel last race. And Emmanuel's a really good horse, man. Yep. Steady On, really good horse. Same thing, and these are things that I like to look out. Again, galloped out after, passed both of them. He looked like he could go around again. Very lightly raced, second off the layoff. Fort Washington was almost a single for me in here. Shug McGahee, Jose Ortiz. Doesn't have a win over the track, but all the 3 got third the last 2 times and to horses in this race. But I'm Fort Washington and Steady On. Those 2 for me.
Yeah, see, that's what worries me about Fort Washington, because I did say in a recap that I did like Fort Washington going forward on the turf. That's a horse I bet back for sure. I'm hoping we get the same odds, 13-1 and 11-1.
Jeez.
That's what I'm hoping. But, after that last race, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But I do like the fact that Steady On and Fort Washington, we got the Ortiz brothers. We got Irad and Jose. And then I also like Grace Fable in here. And here comes my, Lasix talk, because I'm the Lasix guy.
Yeah.
That horse hasn't had Lasix a lot, and did get Lasix last time out, but I forgive it because it was the first off the layoff, a long layoff. Now we're coming back. We got Joel back on. So we got 3 horses, and we have 3 jockeys all riding back. So I like that. None of them are jumping off to get on any other horse, which they could have the pick. Those 3, Joel, Irad, and Jose. You think? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
I looked at that horse too. There was one thing. You know what turned me off about that horse? Granted, the races. If you look, this is one of the classier horses in the race.
Oh yeah.
Got that grade 1 on there. Yeah. Didn't run, but grade 3 on there. You just look at those odds. Boom, 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 and then drops all the way down as a heavy favorite.
Right.
Granted, off the layoff, they're obviously using that as a prep. But. They're back here at Gulfstream. Like you said, you get Jose back or Joel back aboard. Brian Lynch is an awesome turf trainer. In these non-graded stakes races, he's hitting at a 25% clip. Yeah. The only thing, that turned me off about that horse is not that I was turned off, is that I think that Canadian turf, that grade 3, that race is a huge, that was a big race. So that's why I'm using those 2.
Oh, 100%. I mean, dude, the one I want to win, like my heart wants to win, is Fort Washington.
Yeah, so we're the same. Me too.
He deserves to freaking win that race.
Yeah.
Because I've seen him run since January.
Yeah.
And I especially the last one on Pegasus Day, right? Was that it was Pegasus Day. I mean, it was flying home. Flying.
This horse has a huge turn of foot. That's that Warfront breeding.
I just get worried because I know how the turf is freaking derf over there.
Yeah.
And I'm really worried about how far he's going to be back. But I'm hoping he could work out a trip. And we're going a 16th shorter. So we're going a mile, not a mile and a 16th here. we gotta hope for that pace to heat up. We gotta go like 23-46.
I think it will. I think Stryker and
That's what we gotta
Win
hope.
from Within are really gonna. Now, there's only 2 front runners in here.
And this race is late, so think about it. If you're watching this race, like you can take our picks because there are good picks. Fort Washington, Steady On, and then I have Grace Fable as well. But when you're watching races, pay attention to how the track's playing, and we're gonna be watching it. We need to pay attention to see how that turf's playing. I'm hoping it's it. I was watching it. I was watching the replays from Sunday, and I mean it was a little bit fair, but coming from the back, it was tough.
Yeah.
Just because that tactical speed coming from mid pack just held just enough.
Yeah.
Like horses coming from way back would be like finished with a length or like half a length.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
So I'm hoping. Like my heart wants Fort Washington. I think that horse is the best in this field. But it's just whether or not, and that's the turf, man. You got to have the best trip in the field to win.
I think we're going to be okay because the 2 horses we like, Fort Washington and Steady On, their turn of foot turning from home is
100%.
Lights out compared to the rest of the field. So the only other horse I would even mention is Super Dormy. But just for honorable mention, but coming out of that same race, coming out of the Canadian turf, rank pulled 3 wide. If that horse, you could put a line through that, and then if you do that, you're coming off 2 wins.
Yeah, but you know what I'm gonna say.
The Lasix.
Yeah,
absolutely. No, for sure.
Hasn't had a win, and that's a big thing. Hasn't had a win off of Lasix. Like horses can get Lasix, but they still have a win off Lasix. I'm okay with that for the most part. But I mean, it's really, if you really look at the way we've looked at these races and handicapping, I think this Lasix thing has played a big part.
You're right.
I really do. Like just the amount of times I mention it and we talk about it, I don't know. I really think it plays a part. Last week we talk about, our collector. I'm like, and this was an instance where I didn't like him getting Lasix. And he got Lasix, and he didn't run as well as he did all the times he was off Lasix when he had his 8 wins at that same distance against a lesser field than the Pegasus.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's something to it a little bit. You're giving a horse, a drug essentially, not a steroid, but to help them not bleed in their lungs. And some horses, I think it helps.
Well, what it does is they also lose a lot of weight. They drop in a lot of weight.
They do lose a lot of weight. They do lose a lot of weight. And, some horses, I think it helps. First time Lasix off a long layoff. And some horses, I think, when they're on Lasix for so long, they're just used to that. Now that horse isn't going to lose all that weight.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So now he's going to be heavier than he usually is when he runs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why.
Just something to think about. Yeah. Right. Something to think about.
And that's why, that's when you brought up Super Dormy, I thought about that. Because when I saw that horse, I saw all the Lasix, I'm like, I'm not taking that horse.
All right, so I'm gonna end up using 2 just for Washington and Steady On, and if I had to pick a B horse, it'd be Win From Within, maybe to hang on for what you said, maybe horse. Get up on the lead and maybe hang on. It's gonna be hard to catch up.
Yeah, I'm with Steady On and Fort Washington too. That might be the freaking cold exacta we got.
The ice
I like
cold
that. I like that ice cold, man.
Okay.
And then Grace Fable, second off the layoff, got Lasix last time out. Gets Joe Rosario. I'm thinking, we're not going to get the group. I think those will be the top 3 odds. But hopefully, whoever we like more, would be
is the one that comes to 1. Yeah,
longer odds.
Okay.
So that's it. Race 13 in the books. Race 14, the Florida Derby.
The Grade 1 Florida Derby. They're going 1 1/8, and we got a big name in here. After he wins this race, he'll be the top horse going into not just the favorite, but most points earned.
Yes.
And that's Forte. Everybody's talking about him. He's Todd's stud. This horse done nothing wrong, man. Done nothing wrong. He's won his last 4 races soundly, easy. He's won over at Gulfstream. He's got 5 out of 6. He's my pick, and I'm really not looking anywhere else. We got to see WNL when we went over to Tampa for the Sam F. Davis.
And I tried, I looked back and I'm like, it did start to rain when we were there. So maybe WNL, doesn't like the rain or doesn't wrong. That horse ran the best
In the mud.
In the mud.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get a fast, hot track on Saturday. I looked at the temperature, 83s and 60s. That course is gonna be fast and hot. WNL wants nothing to do with that. I agree with you, man. Like it's almost like if you're betting this, and I hope we don't jinx it, because I really want to see Forte win this, and then I want to see a crazy Derby finish where Forte doesn't win the Derby, and I have the horse that isn't Forte, because that'll be good odds. But I like this to be that free bingo square in a pick 5.
Yeah, I think it is, man. Baffert sends over Fort Bragg, who was supposed to run in I believe it was the Sunland Derby.
Probably.
I think it was the Sunland Derby. He scratched out of that, but it's Tim Yakteen is the trainer for him now. Joel jumps aboard. Well-bred, $700,000 horse at a tap it. I don't know. There's. If Forte loses this race, I would be absolutely shocked. But like I said, when Forte wins this race, if you go back to my Derby Trends video, Florida Derby is one of my top ones. We got the Florida Derby, 100%. The Arkansas Derby, and the Santa Anita Derby.
Yeah. Now, I'm just worried because this field, to me, looks worse than the Fountain of Youth. And this is the first time I've ever said that. Watching this Florida Derby, probably the last 5 or 6 years, seriously.
And you're right.
I mean, this field looks terrible to me, and maybe I'm wrong.
Well, they're avoiding Forte. The horse, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, dude, we're gonna this isn't gonna be. This might be. Unfortunately, it's been such a good Derby over the years that it might not be as good as the blue. I think the Bluegrass is setting up to be a hell of a Derby.
Yes.
A prep. I think the Arkansas Derby's better.
Yeah.
I think the Wood's going to be a heck of a one, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, unfortunately, yes, they are running from Forte. And I think this is an easy win unless it's like a terrible trip.
I'll be so let down if Forte doesn't win.
I will, too. That's my thing is I really want Forte. I want to see greatness at the Florida Derby with Forte again. And then I want to see. It
just makes the whole run into the Derby,
right,
like Kentucky Derby, that much better when you got horses like that.
I just selfishly, money wise, because I'm not going to have Forte to win the Derby. I don't want him to win the Derby, but I do want him to win the Florida Derby.
Yeah.
Because I want to. He deserves to. He's way better than all these horses. He's shown he's the best. And right now he is. I'm not going to say he's the best 3-year-old because we've seen some good horses out there, and we've seen horses overcome stuff and do well. So I can't say he's the best yet because he hasn't really faced anybody. Maybe I guess Rocket can and Cyclone Mischief, who's back in here again. But other than that, he hasn't really faced anybody. And I think, we'll see. I think he's just much the best in here. I want to see him win the Florida Derby and go on and lose the Kentucky Derby.
I want him to win both, and if he wins this, he will be my pick for the Kentucky Derby.
That's it.
Locked in.
Wow.
And there's other horses I like. I like other Todd Pletcher horses, man. But yeah, locked in. I'm all in on him.
Yeah, you got Tapit Trice.
Yep.
And
King's
you got
Barnes.
King's Barnes. Like those are the top 3.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he's loaded. We said this before. He's loaded.
There was a time when Todd Pletcher couldn't win a Kentucky Derby, and it didn't matter how many horses he qualified into the Derby. People would that's all they brought up. Todd never wins a Derby. Todd never wins a Derby. I think he was like, I'm not lying, 30 for something, like 0 for 30 with getting horses into Derby and not winning. And then he had Always Dreaming, and then ever since then, Always Dreaming won the Florida Derby.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is setting up beautiful for Forte. And like you said, he's not beating much, and that kind of scares you. I like it because you know what? He's supposed to win this race. He's not going to have to use a lot. You got the best trainer doing it, the best jockey on him. I'm so ready for the Florida Derby and for Forte.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting one for sure. But yeah, I want Forte to win too, man.
That's it, man. That wraps us up.
That's it, guys. That's 11 through 14. Stay tuned all week. We're going to be putting out stuff, talking about the undercard, talking about Arkansas Derby.
Yes.
It's a big week this week. Florida Derby, Arkansas Derby. Next week, Bluegrass.
Keeneland opens up, baby.
And we got the Wood next week.
And sometimes these horses are going to scratch. And,
yes, right.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So we had a horse scratch on Saturday. 2 Emmys.
One of our top picks. We really like that horse.
And what we're gonna do from now on, if there's a horse that scratches like prior to the race, 10, 15 minutes, on our IG, if you're following live, like if you're following the races live, pop over to our IG page on Before the Odds, and we're gonna post a video or maybe just a quick picture.
Mm-hmm. I'll do it. It'll be in our Instagram story. And we'll let you know who we took.
Our horse scratched. If we add a horse, we'll post a video. If we don't add any horses, we'll just leave it blank, or we might just post something saying we're not adding anything.
Yeah, and we'll let you guys know. And we did add the winner, Spooky Channel. Yeah. So we had Spooky Channel. So it just sucks when we didn't get it to the listeners in time, and
but that's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna do our best 100% because whatever we're doing, we want you guys to have that same all those picks.
Yeah,
we don't want to have we would say the secret pick guy.
Yeah.
We don't want that.
And so bear with us with everything. We love horse racing. We're getting the podcast going. We're getting the IG going. We're getting better and better with everything.
Check out the IG for sure.
Appreciate everybody. The IG.
Posting stuff. Mm-hmm. And then make sure you like and subscribe, man.
Yeah, for sure. Like and subscribe. IG and on YouTube. We appreciate you guys.
Florida Derby. Let's go.
Let's go, baby.